Hello year 8s, I'm Mr. James. Today we will be playing a game called Rob the Nest. Now, has anyone played Rob the Nest before? A few? Great. So, with Rob the Nest, there are two teams. As you can see behind me, there are two bases, one on each side. There is a halfway in the middle. In each base, there are 15 tennis balls, okay? In your team, you want to protect these tennis balls, okay? Now, to play Rob the Nest, you want to steal from the other team's nest to take back to your nest, and then you can gain points from that, okay? So to cross halfway, you have to take one of your own tennis balls from your nest, and that's your pass to pass halfway, okay? Once you say you're attacking and you steal one of the balls, you get a free escort back to your base, and you can put the ball in your nest. If I'm attacking and I get tagged, I must drop the tennis ball, okay? And then I must go back to my nest, and I can grab another tennis ball if I want to attack again, or leave the tennis ball and I can defend, okay? Once I drop the tennis ball, the other team that tagged me can take that ball and put it in their nest, okay? Any questions so far? No? Brilliant. There will be 4 rounds, okay? So the first one is just a warm-up round, okay? So we all understand what's happening, we all get a feel of the game, and everyone is on the same page, okay? The second game is an inclusion game. So, once I'm attacking and I steal a ball from the other team's nest, I have to pass it a minimum of 3 times. What's the minimum? 3. Brilliant. So, once I pass the ball 3 times, it can't be to the same person. So if I rob a tennis ball, I can pass it to James here. James can pass it to Charlotte, Xavier, or whoever is on his team. He cannot pass it back to me, okay? It has to be different people. What do we have to do? Pass it to 3 different people. Brilliant, student, year 8s. The third round is a numeracy round. So each tennis ball is worth 1 point, okay? If you steal 3 tennis balls in it, it's an extra 2 points. How many tennis balls do you get an extra? 3. Brilliant. Okay, so make sure you are counting. So maybe if you have someone who's solely defending, they could be counting the tennis balls, making sure they aren't falling behind on those bonus points. Finally is our strategy round, okay? So before we start our final round, you will be in teams. You'll get a minute each to think of some strategies, like as an attacker, what do we want to work on, like what works best? As defenders, where do we want to stand in defending? Do we want to stand close to the defensive line, close to the halfway line, back near the nest, in between, or on the sides? And what works well the most, okay? Any questions? No? Brilliant. Finally, before we get started, it's about teamwork, communication, strategy. Make sure you capture the tennis balls, protect your nest, and at the end, think of what strategies you use during those modifications. Right, year 8s, let's have some fun.
This is my second part of EDPE299, Assessment 1 of the Micro Teaching Folio. In video 1, I communicated rules through verbal messages and non-verbal messages, like pointing at cones. This added clarity and engagement, as well as using hand signs and showing a tennis ball for students to memorize and remember what they are aiming to collect. Some purposeful questioning that I used was I employed open questions like, what would you do to create space? What strategies might help you create space when attacking? Where should defenders stand to make tagging more effective? to support strategic thinking, which develops cognitive, affective, and behavior engagement. The resources and curriculum links, as well as equipment that was used, were tennis ball, bibs, and cones. These were accessible and age appropriate. These all linked to Year 8P outcomes, such as the round one was a warm-up, making sure students understood the task and had a feel for the game, knowing what they were about to do for the class. Round two was about inclusion, movement and cooperation, which is part of the Australian curriculum AT19950, which was trying to get the students to pass the ball to different students, making sure everyone was involved and no one was sitting out. In round three, numeracy, it was the bonus round game where students were, if they got 3 tennis balls, they would get an extra 2 bonus points, making sure students were keeping track of score and trying to remember how many balls they had in their nest. Round 4, literacy, made students, at the start of that round, made students think of strategies they could use coming into that last round, especially if a team was losing in after the first 2 rounds, trying to think if they would go all out attack, or if the other way around, if they were going all out defense, trying to get the other team to try and come into their half and steal the balls. The theoretical foundations and the theories that were chosen were because the Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, multiple means of engagement cut across barriers, Volovsky's ZPD, gradual modifications aid challenge, Haiti's visible learning, questioning and marketing build deeper thinking, equity-informed PE research, transformations within game reduce gaps and promote maximum inclusion. By integrating questioning, scaffolding, and modified resources, I intend to motivate all learners and construct movement, teamwork, and fair play. This is my EDPE299 third part of the micro-teaching portfolio. When planning Rob the Nest, some inclusive adjustments that I modified to ensure fairness. For a limited mobility student, I gave the job of ball guarding, making sure that the nest was staying protected from the other players stealing the balls. For an EAL student, I had demonstrations and vocabulary word lists such as tag, intercept, and possession. For low socioeconomic background students, I made equipment low cost and affordable, making sure that all students in my class were able to play. To involve literacy and numeracy, I added some modifications that developed literacy and numeracy, such as literacy through tactical vocabulary and group discussion, such as when they were thinking of strategies and communicating to one another during the games. Numeracy through scoring, counting up, and aggregating, such as when it was that bonus point round where students were able to gain extra points for having 3 balls. The research support of my class showed literature shows responsive practices such as role adaptation and equipment adjustment enable inclusive engagement. The integration of UDL principles helps in avoiding restrictions. Evidence also shows that equity-focused PE practice reduces gender and disability disparities. As a reflection and for future practice, what I learned through this activity is that anticipating challenges yields smoother inclusion. I will ensure that I deepen my knowledge of inclusive game design and culturally responsive PE in the future. Adjustments do not benefit people alone, but also foster teamwork, respect, and equity play during the class.